The European semi-finals delivered some really exciting games. My name is Mark, let's talk rugby. The original plan was to have separate videos for each of the competition's semi-finals, so Champions Cup and the Challenge Cup, but I decided why not put the two together. It'll mean probably that the Challenge Cup stuff will get a little more attention than it would otherwise, and I think there's going to be a bit more of a flow to things as well, and hopefully I won't go on for too long on any of the games. But what we're going to do is quickish summary of each of the games, then we'll have a little bit of opinion on each of the teams in each game as well, and then a very short look forward to each of the two finals as well, but not too much because we will have full previews of those in a couple of weeks time. But also, if you want more in-depth stuff on the Champions Cup semi-finals, there are like two reviews, one for each game, full reviews on the channel, so those go through more in depth what happened in the games, also some stats in there, and a lot more kind of opinion based stuff as well. So we're going to go start with the first of the Champions Cup semi-finals. So it's Leinster 20, Northampton 17. So Leinster score first. Quick thinking from Gibson Park. They've got a 5-metre penalty. He taps it. Brilliant pass over the top of two Northampton defenders, and Lowe goes over in the corner. Then Doris breaks off the back of a 5-metre wall. Maul gets stopped just short. He's on his back, pops the ball up to Gibson Park, who doesn't have time to collect it, so he just slaps the ball over another couple of Northampton defenders, and out to Lowe, who goes in for his second. Leinster lead 15-3 at half time. Northampton in that first half looking all at sea, maybe a little bit overawed by the occasion. I thought Courtney Laws was one of the few players who really stood up for them in that first half, and just being there in Croke Park in front of 82,300 fans maybe got to them a little bit. But also Leinster can do this to teams as well, can start really fast. Gets worse then for Northampton first few minutes after the break. Lowe over in the corner again to complete his hat-trick, and it's 20 points to 3. But that was the end of Leinster scoring for the next 37 minutes, or the remaining 37 minutes of the game. Didn't put a point on the board. Northampton then start to grow into the game as Leinster really just trying to protect their lead, which hasn't worked out well for them in the past. Poor Leinster line-out then gave Northampton a chance to attack on the edge of 22. Dingwall with a decent carry, and then it goes out wide to Hendy. He chips over the defence. Portal and Larmour getting in each other's way. Ball spills, and Hendy gathers it and goes over to score. Saintston go from a tap penalty, suck in the Leinster defence. Then they go wide, and then Seabrook is over in the corner. And at this stage, it's 20 points to 17. We've got about 5 minutes left on the clock. Northampton, they come forward again. They suck in that Leinster defence, and you can see clearly that they've got numbers out wide. If they can get the ball out there, they're probably going to be in for a try to win it, because it'll be a huge ask for Leinster then to go potentially the length of the field from the kickoff and get a try themselves. But Leinster get over the ball and win a penalty. Huge intervention there, and basically a game winner. Leinster see out the rest of the clock on somewhat shaky legs, it has to be said. From there, 20 points to 17. Almost an amazing comeback from Northampton, and a bit of a scare for Leinster. But honestly, fair play to Northampton for the way they responded after, in the second half. Looked like they were dead and buried, but they dug in, and, as the chances came their way in the second half, then they took those couple of chances and almost did it. Like, they were so close to beating Leinster. Leinster then, really good first half, but they then in the second half they should have been looking to keep that scoreboard ticking over. That's what we always talk about is that's how you end up, you get a bit of a lead, but then just keep on adding scores, so that even if the opposition are scoring, they're not actually leading, eating too much into your lead, because you're slightly stretching away at times as well. But they didn't do that. They're going to have to, definitely come up with a better performance, and there's a lot to work on as well for that final. Their opponents then, Toulouse 38, Harlequins 26 in the other semi-final. Clermont picks off a 5-meter defensive line-out from Quins. Ruma with a nice offload out of like a tackle, kind of a mini maul. Enthemac with a superb pass, and that puts Labelle over in the corner. Donbrandt then goes close for Quins before Smith comes back against the drift and over to score. He converts his own try and puts Quins in front for the first and only time in the game. Mauvaka then and goes over the back of a well-worked Toulouse maul. Quins respond with a maul try of their own. Evans is the scorer there. They then make a complete mess of the restart, and Clermont picks Cunningham South's pocket to go over to score. Quins then overthrow an attacking line-out. Mauvaka against the loose ball. Willis, I think, gives it to Coste, and he just steps Smith and puts him on his ass. Then a sublime kick from him. Kinghorn gets to the ball first, stopped just short of the line, and then Dupont shows great strength to get over to finish. Mauvaka then breaks through a gap, takes 3 to stop him, and there's no one left then to tackle Dupont, who goes over to score. 31 points to 12 at half time. Feels like game over, but Quins quick-fire double at the start of the half, and suddenly they're back in it. First of all, Esterhazen, bit of a silly grubber kick that he tried, but it actually bounces back up into his hands very fortuitously. Then it's recycled from there. Smith with a long pass, and that allows Murley to finish acrobatically in the corner. Green then counters from a kick. Beauty of an offload from him to Murley. Murley keeps it alive. They recycle, and then Green arrives just in time to glide through a gap and over to score. 31 points to 26. Back within a score when they really did look dead and buried. Walker then gets a yellow card for a dangerous clear out that, in my opinion, absolutely should have been a red. Toulouse then sealed the win during the yellow card period. Nice hands after a rampaging maul. MacLeod then smashes through 2 tacklers to score in the corner. Quins do try and rally again, and they've actually got a penalty and a bit of momentum with only a couple of minutes left on the clock. But then the genius that is Joe Mahler decides to slap Ramos in the back of the head, and I'm reliably informed that he called him a little bitch as well. So the penalty gets reversed, and any tiny glimmer of a chance that they had of a comeback is gone. Full time 38 points to 26. Toulouse looking the better of the winning semi-finalists certainly this weekend, and they have haven't, or should I say, they haven't performed all that well against Leinster in the last few seasons in this competition, but Leinster fans need to remember that, first of all, Leinster have a lot to work on, as we talked about from the Northampton game, and Leinster didn't perform well against La Rochelle in the last few games, and they turned it around. So if they can do that, then Toulouse can certainly do that against them as well. So I'd have Toulouse as the favourites. A bit of a quick one for Quins as well. So fair play to them getting to a semi-final, having this season was the first time they actually won a knockout game in this competition. So to get all the way to the semi-final, brilliant. I always said in my preview that they had somewhat of a chance in this because of that ability, as we saw today, to score tries and bursts. It would always give them a chance to get back into the game, but you felt like they had to take every chance that they got, and it was it was an error really from their point of view that allowed Toulouse to build that lead in the first half. And then 2 really stupid bits of play from Walker, and then Marler basically sealed the deal in the end as well. But yeah, Toulouse, looking like what they are, which is the best team in European rugby history, and favourites, I think, to get their 6th star as well in the final. On to then the Challenge Cup. So first semi-final was Sharks 32, Clermont 31. Sharks opened the scoring from the tee. Then Yato just glides through a gap, then puts Uran away to score in the corner. Clermont lead. Masuka then strokes over a couple of penalties from long range, one on a bit of a difficult angle as well, and Sharks back in front. A couple of minutes later, then Baloo restores Clermont. Why am I saying Castra? Clermont's lead, but then Masaku responds with another one from the tee. Duran, though, then gets over for his second, collects a crossfield kick, and then steps inside Cock and dots down. Masaku, another couple of penalties, and Sharks again hit the lead. Good hands, though, see Clermont over for the third try before the break. Newsom is the score there. Baloo then lands another couple of penalties for them, and Clermont leading 28 points to 18 at half time. Gap gets bigger then from another penalty in the first minute of the second half. Then we have a deliberate knock on from Del Guy, and Sharks make the most of the extra man. Vincent Koch over from close range. They don't have the advantage for too long, though. Who was it? Yeah, Duran breaks up the left. He kicks ahead. Fassi basically changes his running angle to run into him, and he's not going near the ball, so he gets a yellow card for that. I didn't watch this one live, so I don't know. I'm not too sure why it wasn't a penalty try. Maybe there was cover, or I'm not sure what the decision was on that. But for me, it looked like Clermont definitely had a good shout for a penalty try out of that. Etzebeth then with a great take from an up and under. She took it with just sensational offload. One of these ones where he's been tackled, and out of the tackle he offloads it, but he offloads it behind another Clermont defender and finds his own player, which is Am out on the wing. Am then draws the cover and sends Mapimpi away down the wing to score. Masuka then nails a touchline conversion that proved to be the winning score as well. So 32 points to 31 for the Sharks. Great to see, honestly, a South African team making a final. Again, I think once South African fans and teams really embrace European competition, it's just going to make the whole thing better. I think they've done so with the URC, and really lifted the competitiveness of the URC, and I think they're a brilliant addition to European competition as well. Clermont, I've said before, they're my favorite French team simply because they don't have huge budgets like some other teams. That's not a dig at other teams. It's just saying that that's the reality, right? They don't have the budget of other teams, but they always give their best in Europe. And I remember all those years where they came close to getting a Heineken Cup, almost Munster-esque in their pursuit and desire for a Champions Cup. They haven't got one yet, but hopefully they will get one day. But really great performance from them, and came up just short. Sharks into the final. It's going to be weird. I'm going to be cheering for them. I know there's a lot of Irish people who won't be cheering for them, simply because if Sharks do win it, then 8th place is no longer a qualifier for the Champions Cup for next year. So a bit of kind of split loyalties there. You would kind of expect the URC fans to be cheering for your URC team in the final, but you can also understand if that's going to cost your team a potential place in the Champions Cup next season, why you wouldn't want that to happen. On to the second semi-final then. It was Gloucester 40, Benetton 23. So the only one that wasn't kind of as close as the others, at least towards the end. First of all, Hathaway gets to a bobbling kick through first and grounds for the opening try for Gloucester. There's then exchange of penalties. I think Hastings got one, Albalos gets two. Then Seb Blake goes over for Gloucester's second try. Benetton respond in the red numbers just before the break. Good hands release Rhino Smith, and he finishes like a train in the corner. No one was stopping him getting over. Half-time is 15-11. Another penalty from Hastings then puts Gloucester 7 up after the break. Before Benetton get them all working, and they just roll around Gloucester's defence and over. Lucchese is the scorer. Thornley then shrugs off a tackle in the 22. Gloucester recycle and over goes Hastings. Benetton looking for another response. They have numbers on the left as they look to move it. Freddie Clark intercepts though, and he runs in under the post. If Benetton had got it out, it looked like maybe they were going to be in for a try, but maybe forced it a little bit and read really well by Clark. Lucchese then goes over for his second from close range to bring Benetton back within a converted try, but that was as close as they got from there. Another penalty followed by a try from Thornley plus Gloucester in the final, 40 points to 23 at full time. So, Benetton, they've been such an improved side, and they've also shown as well, I think this year their away performances have stepped up, in Stadio Moningo. They've always looked dangerous there, especially in the kind of last 3 years or so. But it's this year where on the road they've looked better. But in this case, Gloucester just had a little bit too much of them. But I think Benetton can certainly be proud of making a European semi-final. Gloucester versus Sharks then in the final. I think a lot of people are giving kind of making Gloucester the favourites for the final, but especially given that it's going to be in England. But Sharks have come into form, I think, at the right time of the season as well. They were very poor at the start of the season. They were bottom of the URC. They've worked their way out of that, and they've strung wins together. They performed really well in the knockout stages of this competition. So I think they're going to give Gloucester a run for the money. But again, Gloucester probably are the favourites for that one. Okay, so that's a look back at the semi-finals, and as I said, some really exciting games. Two really good finals, I think, in prospect as well for us. We're going to kind of have the curtain raiser in the Challenge Cup, followed by the main event really between Leinster and Toulouse. But I think both games are going to be should be at least very exciting. And in terms of what we've got coming for you from now on, there won't be that many videos in the coming week. Just to warn you now, there will be a preview of the URC games, and then probably on the Monday after there will be a review of the weekend, but I won't be able to cover any of the games the way I normally would, with reviews for individual games, because bit of good news for me is my wife is coming over for a few days this week. It's her birthday next week, so we got a few days to kind of spend together over the weekend. So I'm gonna take the opportunity to do that and take a little bit of a break from just doing the rugby just for that weekend. But as I said, we'll have a preview maybe on maybe tomorrow, Tuesday, or if not, it's going to be on Wednesday. And then, as I said, we will then have the review on the Monday as well. Just before I go though, I would like to say a big thank you for everyone who has been posting comments on the videos this weekend. It's been brilliant. It's been great. Some new people on there, some of the old hands there too, and it's great to see you all. Honestly, welcome any new commenters, and you know, you're always welcome, the older guys as well. And I love, you probably know because I go on too long writing all my videos, but I love talking rugby and I love chatting down in the comments as well with people. You always, get some really nice opinions from people, and maybe some things that, maybe I miss, people can point out, and then I can have a look at it myself as well. And that's just great. And it's, I'm lucky, I think, with such, a nice bunch of commenters as well, that we can, have some nice discussions and not always agree with each other, but still we can kind of respect each other as well. So again, and also on a side note, it hugely helps the channel as well. The more interactions that I have on videos, whether that's liking, sharing, or posting a comment, it's just really does help. It's a small channel, but even just a handful of comments really does help the videos get to a wider audience, and build that audience as well for me. So again, I'm just immensely grateful to you guys. I always feel very humbled that you take your time to listen to me prattling on about rugby. So I know it's a real privilege for me to make these videos. As I said before, even if nobody was watching, because I love talking about rugby, I'd still make them. But it just makes it even that extra bit special, knowing that there are people who watch, if not all of my videos, most of my videos. And just a huge thank you to you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.